Well, good to see you all. Thanks for taking the time. The sun's come out and I'm surprised everybody's not in the pub. So my name is Simon Ellson, and today we're going to talk about how to be a lead generation superstar. There are some angles on that I'm going to touch on, but for the next 45 minutes, I'm probably going to overload your brain with things that you can do to do a better job of boosting your marketing effectiveness. That's fundamentally what this is about. So first and foremost, a little bit about our organisation. So we are Hertfordshire's complete business coaching practice. We're the largest coaching practice in Hertfordshire, and all we do is help business owners, teach business owners how to do a better job of what they're trying to do on a day-to-day basis. Professional business coaching brought to West Hertfordshire. There are 3 coaches in the practice currently. We have a new one joining us in September, so we'll be 4 coaches, support staff, marketeers, where we learn a lot of our lessons about what I'm going to talk to you about today. And then, of course, customer engagement and PA services. So a very busy business. It's grown tremendously over the last 3 years, and we love what we do. The best job in the world, bar none, is what I tell everybody. So who am I? Just a quick, I'm not going to read the lines to you, but just a quick overview of who I am. So 5 startups over the years. I'm currently a director in 3 companies. A non-exec in 2 others, and running this coaching practice here in Hertfordshire. I'm in a second coaching practice down in Dorset, which is my ultimate retirement destination in 35 years when I get to retirement age. Worked in a couple of large corporates, closed a few businesses, sold a few businesses, raised money through venture capitalists, and I'm a big fan of volunteering my time. So I volunteer at NatWest East Farm Programme. I'm formerly a director at the local rugby club. Actually, I've changed that now, and I'm now a radio presenter on Tring Radio. So that's a volunteer organisation. So I give my time freely to helping the local community through the use of Tring Radio. 2 business shows a week. If you haven't listened, you should. If you haven't downloaded the Tring Radio app, you should. Great. So in the bump that you would have read prior to this event, you would have seen that I'm going to give you at least 3 lead generation strategies, not get strategies as it says on the screen, but 3 lead generation strategies you may not have used before. How to generate good quality leads, and why quality often matters over quantity. And I think that's a little bit of a misnomer. Now, we will talk about some big numbers in a moment and what the impact of that can be on your business. But it's really important to remember that the leads you want are those that you can convert, and not those that are not people who are willing to buy whatever it is, product or service that you're selling. Great. So that's our aim for the next 45 minutes. And as part of that process, I'm going to deliver you, I said you get 3 lead gen ideas. I'm going to deliver you 30 ideas across all of the things you see in the agenda there that will hopefully give you something you can take away and use to grow your own business. Or if you're working in a business, to grow the business, to help educate other people in your business in order that they can grow your business. So 10 ideas for social media, 8 for email marketing. Email marketing has become a thing again. It was not a thing a couple of years ago, but it's suddenly started to work, and the stats are proving that email marketing is generating more these days than it was 2 years ago. Content marketing, website, the other stuff that you write when you're putting out posts, video marketing, of course, and then some miscellaneous stuff, which will give you perhaps a little sideways glance at some of the things that you could be doing in order to get a better quality of leads, and to just up your game in terms of what it is you do from a marketing standpoint. Before I do that, I wanted to just share with you what I always call the secret to sales, or the secret to revenue and the secret to profitability, and it's driven by leads. So the topic of this conversation is all about leads, and leads is the one thing that you need if you're going to make money out of your business. At the top of that very poorly drawn funnel, there is a leads generated from any source. All those things I showed on the first slide there, all 30 ideas will put leads into the top of your sales funnel. Take your leads, multiply them by your conversion rate. We'll tell you how many customers you've got. Multiply that by the number of times they buy, and then by the average sale price. We'll tell you how much revenue you'll make. Multiplied by your profit margin, we'll tell you how much profit you make. Really simple, right? We call that the 5 ways, because the 5 most important numbers in there are not the numbers in red, they're the numbers in black. The numbers in red are the output from the activities that you do in black. Leads generated, conversion rate, etc. You can see the chart. So I thought I would just give you an example of how this works, because I think it's important that you can see the impact that extra leads can have on your business. So I've drawn up a little table, which I'm going to put up here. So everything in the funnel on the left is now in the table on the right, and I'm going to add in some numbers. So these could be a day, a week, a month, a year, but they are just an example at this point. So if your business today generates 4,000 leads and you convert 25% of those leads coming into your business, you're going to have 1,000 customers. If every customer buys from you twice, you're going at an average sale price of £100, you're going to have £200,000 worth of revenue. If your profit margins then are 25%, simple maths, you end up with a gross profit of £50,000. So the logic would dictate that if you can put more leads in the top, you get more out of the bottom. As a business coach, and from a business coaching perspective, we would be asking you, working with you, to work on leads, conversion, transactions, average sale, and profit margin. And the reason for that I'm going to show you now. So if I apply a 10% increase to all the black numbers on there, just 10%, no astronomical growth expectations or otherwise, this is what happens. So I've no longer got 4,000 leads, I've got 4,400. My conversion rate's higher by 10%. So look how many extra customers I've got, an extra 210 customers from just a small increase in the leads generated. Transactions, 2.2 a year, average sale £110. Look at the difference in revenue, £292,000 as opposed to £200,000. If you up your profit margin, reduce your costs, improve your efficiency, then look at the difference in the bank at the end of that period. So leads generated is a massively important part of that calculation, but don't forget that your sales skills in converting, your sales skills in upping the number of times they buy from you every year, that could be pricing strategy or making it really easy to buy your product, a small increase in price, multiplied by an improvement in systemization and effectiveness. One of my hottest topics is systemizing your business. Look at the difference in your gross profit. That's a 46% revenue increase, but more importantly, a 61% profit increase. And all you have to do is increase your leads, your conversion, your transactions, your average sale, and your profit margin by 10%. Now, I would put the other illustration on here, so we haven't got time today. What happens if I could do 100% in leads and only 10% in the rest of those? If I became a real lead generation expert, a superstar, as we build it at the front of the webinar, what difference that would make to your revenue. So that's the thing we call the 5 ways, massively important, a huge part of your marketing and sales strategy. Sales marketing is kind of my background. And so, I love this kind of thought process applied to a business, any business, your business. We can make an enormous difference in terms of what your profitability looks like. There's a second part to this, which is all about business valuation based on this kind of performance. If you want to know a little bit more about that, drop me a note afterwards. I'll happily have a chat with you about how that could work for your business. Okay, so the first 10. I said 30 to give you 3. Here's the first 10. When was the last time you refreshed your brand? When was the last time you looked at the brand colors that you're using, the style of the logo? If you're a 25-year-old business, is your logo current today? Do the colors mean to the buying community today the same as they did 25 years ago? Probably not. So your brand value and your brand IT needs to be absolutely bang up to date. It's 2021, it's post-COVID. There's loads of things that you need to be thinking about in order to develop that. Number 2, refresh your profiles and take away all your old or outdated images or content. Social media profiles, again, get very stale. Do you have somebody maintaining those? Does it actually say what it is your business is about today rather than what it was about 2 years ago or 4 years ago or 5 years ago? Make all your channels the same. So interestingly, as we've grown our business, we discovered that our Facebook and Instagram channels were all named slightly different things given when they were put out there and who invented them in the first place. They're now all consistent. optimize your photos and images. Do not put terrible photographs or terrible videos up on your social media profile. It doesn't do you any favors. And those that you do put up, there is an optimum size for those images that you're using, whether it's on social media or in an email or otherwise. And we'll come to that in a little while. Look at the times that you post your social media. Look at the number of times you do it and the times of day that you do it. Create hashtags that suit your business, your industry, other businesses like you. If you can get that hashtag right, you'll bring an audience to your social media that you didn't have before. Videos. Everything is about video these days. Whether we like it or not, whether we're comfortable in front of camera or not, it's taken me years to get to the point where I'm reasonably comfortable talking to a camera and not to an audience. I think if you can create videos that show what you're about and show your expertise in a meaningful way, in the right time frame and the right format, then you can make a massive impact in terms of customer engagement, client engagement, whether that's B2B or B2C. Host a Twitter chat, Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, all of those things. Again, video, personality, proving your expertise has a massive difference on the impact your marketing can make. Facebook events. So don't forget, in your Facebook profile, for the company or for yourself personally, you can post events in there. Those become part of your SEO strategy. They get searched, they appear in more places on Facebook. You put video in your invitation or in your event, and again, even better from a performance point of view. And don't forget to use and share customer-generated content. And by that, I mean customer testimonials, profiles of what your customers might be doing on a day-to-day basis, how they're using your product, and so on and so forth. And if you can do that in video format, again, even more engagement. Facebook and Instagram, absolutely, no question, videos is the thing that they are sharing. If you notice, a year ago, you'd put up an Instagram post and you'd get 100 people who would like it, comment on it and share it. Today, it's 5. If that same post went up with a video today, you'd get 100. So that's how much they are favoring video over above static posts. So there's the first 10 social media rules. Now, there's loads of detail in there. I've got some examples here for each of those 10, which we're just going to run through very quickly. If you haven't got a pen and paper, you might want to grab one now. I'll give you a few seconds before I move to the next slide. There's lots and lots and lots of content here. I don't expect you to take all of this in during the next 30 minutes or so. And if you want to have a chat afterwards with one of us, then you're welcome to do that. Put a link in the very last slide. You can book a session for half an hour just to have a chat, ask any questions about any of these things that might not necessarily make sense. So your brand, update your logo, make sure the colors are right, make sure they're brand focused. I talked about that. Does your logo reflect you in the way that it used to when you first invented it? Great question. Keep your logos consistent. And seasonal changes or event driven. So the example on the screen there is something that we did at ActionCOACH for Pride. So there was a new header that went up on Facebook, a new header on LinkedIn that was up for the period, for the month, I think, and then it changed back to something else which was current for that period. So keeping it fresh, changing it, not leaving the same thing up there for years and years and years is a huge piece of your brand IT. So optimize and refresh it. Hopefully you've got your pen and paper now. I would say the same thing if you were standing in front of a live audience. Put your hand up if you bother to resize your pictures when you put them out on social media, or if you just post whatever you can find. The vast majority of people just post whatever they can find. There is a recommended image size, which means your pictures will load faster. The platform will support your post better by sharing it to more people because they know the quality of what you're putting up is better than something which is just random. So, there's an abstract picture of a dog there. Is that the way that you want to represent you, yourself, your brand, your dog, whatever else it might be? Get those picture sizes right. And there's the recommended image sizes. This slide presentation will be shared with you afterwards as well. So you can take some of that detail from the PDF that'll be shared. Okay, about when and how often to post. Really, really important. There on each of the platforms, there are different times of day in order for you to get the maximum buy-in, the maximum likes, shares, and more importantly, comments. And so you can see here, this is a typical Facebook profile. So Sundays work well, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And why is that? Because during the week, people tend to stay off the profile during working hours because they're busy. Becomes more of a leisurely thing. So if you look at the times of day, it's 1 o'clock at lunch, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, getting towards the end of the day, or 9 a.m. in the morning, first thing in the morning, before they start work, they're browsing their Facebook profile. And how often should you post per day? Well, there's some hints there, but a post a day is recommended. I always say the same thing. If you don't make your posts regular, by the time the person who would normally support you, know, like, and share you, sees your post, is so far down the feed they don't get to it. So 1 post per day recommended. Keep that up and look at the time that you post those to get maximum engagement from your audience. This is not definitive. This is my example, but that you need to be able to figure out what those look like for your Facebook. And don't forget to any of your customers that you know that are on Facebook or LinkedIn, comment, like, and share on their posts, because you're then supporting your customer, and your customer will appreciate that, and hopefully they will come back and buy more product from you. So this really is a very much community-led thing. So the people that you know and the people that you work with, you absolutely should be all over their Facebook and Instagram. And if it's not you, somebody in your organization, that can be. So time of day, number of posts per day, exactly the same conversation for Twitter. You'll notice the times are different. Optimal time Wednesday, best time 12:03, and then between 5 and 6. Twitter's a really funny platform. I'm not a huge fan. I tend to use it for consuming news rather than anything else. I don't think it's a real lead generation opportunity, but it is a branding opportunity, and you just need to be careful about the conversations you get involved with when you're on Twitter, potentially. If you're really into Twitter and you really want to do a great job, 15 posts a day, 15 tweets a day. I'm walking down the high street, I'm having lunch, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, whatever else it might be. I'm not a massive fan of Twitter itself. But again, you've got to pick the right time to get this stuff out there and commented on. LinkedIn, same set of stats, 1 post per day, recommended. Don't forget to look at your customers or your friends or your business associates' posts and make sure you're resharing their posts. And if you are resharing and commenting, make your comment something informative and important, and their post gets shared, but your post also then gets shared. So you can get much more volume out of that. Times a day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, between 7 and 8 in the morning, lunchtime, and then between 5 and 6 in the evening. So putting out a post at 10 o'clock on a Monday morning, it probably isn't going to get much interaction. And you can test this, right? Take the same post or slightly different, do an A/B test, slightly different post, 1 at 10 o'clock on a Monday, and then 1 at 12 o'clock on a Wednesday, and look at the difference you get in interaction. LinkedIn, love LinkedIn as a platform, huge lead generator for us as a business, because it's seen as a much more serious place to go having business conversations. If I was a beauty salon or a photographer or a car detailer or something else, I would love Instagram because it's a great place to show off what you do. Florist or a bar or something else is a lovely place to put great quality images up. 1 or 2 posts a day. Again, don't forget the size. And don't forget that the post is too long and gets chopped into 2 or 3 segments when you're putting it back. Instagram stories have become a massively important thing probably the last 12 to 18 months. So if you're going to reshare a post, reshare it as a story. Same on Facebook, they love stories on it. Those will get more support and get shared more often. So look at the times again. Monday and Thursday, 2, 8 and 9, and then 8 and 9. So again, during peak working hours typically, but all the times of the day. Instagram, 2 a.m. in the morning, Monday. Wow. So just think about exactly what that looks like. Okay, come on with hashtags. So hashtag it. Build company-specific hashtags. I'm not going to read the entire slide, but the example is Nike, and then hashtag just do it. If you search that on Instagram or on Facebook, it'll show you everything that's going on around the Nike community based around just the hashtag. So think about the business you're in, think about what hashtags you could use or create. Might be one for your own business. Simon Says is a hashtag I use quite a lot. I wonder why that is. And so look at then keeping a list of those hashtags, and every time you make a post, all those hashtags in to the same post. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. Repetition in marketing is one of the best things you can do. Keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it, because people will pick up on that eventually and it will become part of your thing. Videos. So creating videos, culture-based, expert-based or otherwise, hugely important, and Facebook absolutely loves videos, as does LinkedIn, but they both like native videos. So uploaded to the LinkedIn platform, you'll get better content, better comments, likes and shares than you will if it's a YouTube video shared on LinkedIn. So always think about how you're pushing those out. Really easy to do an A/B test, time of day, type of content, whether it's native or not, and figure out what works for you. Test and measure is the phrase that we use a lot. So always test and measure exactly what you're doing. The aim of the game, obviously, to get to more people who will then learn about you and your company and your ethos and your philosophy, etc. Twitter chat, so a very similar kind of thing. You can host an hour-long Twitter chat where you can invite people in, and it is a finger-breaking hours worth of conversation, but again, a way for you to demonstrate your expertise. There have been things launched recently like Clubhouse, which does a similar thing. There are a couple of audio-based ones which are relatively new out there that again do a similar thing. A way for you to demonstrate your expertise and to engage an audience and have a conversation is a really great way of promoting yourself. I mentioned Facebook events, but don't forget to use Facebook events to help increase your event attendance. We tend to do website, Facebook, LinkedIn, and out of those three, we'll curate an audience just like the one that I'm talking to now that will come along, to a webinar or to a live event. We've got some live events coming up in September, the first ones in over 18 months. So really looking forward to those. If you're local in Tring and you want to know where they are, hop onto the website, have a look and sign up. We'd love to see you at a live event. I'll even buy you a drink afterwards. So using customer generated content. So your customers love you, we hope. Your customer service is as good as it should be. Your customers love you. You like working with your customers. Sharing their content, again, is a really important thing. I talked about that before. If you're sharing something which might be a little bit personal or otherwise, don't forget to ask if it's okay for you to share it. Again, it tends to be really highly appreciated when you're doing that kind of thing. And don't forget to give people credit for something if you're sharing it in a way that might remove their name from it or otherwise. So credit the original creator of that content. Again, massively important. Okay, so that was 10, right? The first 10 out of 30. We're going to move on to email marketing now. So I said at the beginning that email marketing has gone through something of a resurgence just lately. We probably get out of our email marketing as much as we do out of our LinkedIn and networking activity. Certainly more than we do from social media, shall we say. So email marketing, big fan. It enables you to do lots of great things. I'm a huge fan of A/B testing. So put out 2 similar posts with different headers or laid out differently or something similar, send them to a different audience and measure the result that you get. How many people opened it? How many people acted on it? And so on and so forth. If you're using something like MailChimp to do that, or Zoho campaigns or something similar, and it'll give you all of that information back. So A/B testing is really important. The other thing is, don't make those email marketing things too complicated. Make them easy to read. I'm not sure whether skimmable is even a word, but make your content skimmable. I can scan through it, take the highlights out, and don't have to read the whole thing in detail unless I want to, in which case I might go back and read it. But what you want from your email marketing is not just for somebody to open it, but of course it's for somebody to act on it. And so that's the skill. Make your content skimmable, make your headline really clear and interesting to people. Sometimes, the title for this webinar, for example, is deliberately orientated towards bringing people in because they're interested in the way that you phrase something. So use social media as an opt-in campaign. So putting a link to your newsletter sign up in your social media post is a great way of increasing the size of your email marketing list. Running a competition, even if even if you run the competition and you're giving away, a couple of £100 worth of prizes, the number of email entries that you get back for that competition helps you to boost your email marketing list. Then doing sensible marketing as a result of that will help you to drive more leads into your business. Segment your target list, or segment your email marketing list. So when you look at the people that you serve as clients, if you're in a consumer marketplace, for example, you might want to segment it by demographic, or you might want to segment it by location, or you might want to segment it by, I don't know, the car they drive. You can find out all sorts of things on social media these days, but think about segmenting your list so that when your message goes out to that audience, it's specific for that audience. And then there's a tweaked version that goes out to that audience. And that way you'll get much more engagement than you will a blanket single email with an unexciting title will probably die in somebody's inbox. So think about segmenting your list and target your messaging. Exclusive content, we'll talk about a little bit more about that in a moment. But again, exclusive content differentiates you from other people. You've written it, you've curated it. It's yours, a download as a result of somebody opening your email. It's free, that gives them some more information on the services you offer or the products that you build. Again, hugely, hugely, hugely important. And then back to date and time, right? So what time of day is the right time to send an email to your audience to get the maximum number of opens? Over the next 5 or 6 that you send out, vary the time of day. Why do we do webinars at 1 o'clock on a Friday? Sometime between 12 and 2 on a Friday, typically because it's the end of the week. People want to add a little bit of learning in before they kind of wind down for the weekend. So we find that certainly face-to-face, this was always the best time of day to be running a webinar, and it seems to hold true in terms of the seminar, and it seems to hold true in terms of a webinar as well. So thank you for joining. And then the last one, which is easily missed, is seasonal content. So there are 4 seasons here. There are lots of events that are going on. Tomorrow is Happy Hamburger Day, and the day after is, whatever else it might be. There's a day for everything. So seasonal content, make your content specific to something that's happening at that point in time, and suddenly you've got a better engaged audience. There's something in there for them to grab hold of and to consider as part of your email marketing. So there you go, 8 email marketing ideas. I talked about A/B testing. You probably don't need to change too much more than the headline, than the email subject line. But if you've got a database of 2,000 people, 1,000 go to one with this headline, one goes to 1,000 people with this headline. You measure the results, and then the next time you do that, you've got a better idea of the kind of thing that you're going to say to make sure you get maximum buy-in. Givable content. I'm a massive fan. I always call this VP syndrome. In a large corporate, worked in a couple, the vice president never reads an email. Never reads an email. Look at the title, look at the first sentence, and if you've got them, they might skim the rest of the email. If you haven't got them at that point, it gets ignored. And that's true of most people when they're getting emails. Cracking title, exciting first line or first paragraph, and you've probably got them and they'll read the rest of it. But in any case, make it so that they can scan down the email, pick out the highlights before moving on. So 3 short sentences maximum, no more than 25 words a sentence, and don't be afraid of 1 paragraph sentences. So make it short and punchy and exciting and skimmable. I'll skip survey your audience, I think. I'm an enormous fan of surveys. I've worked with a number of businesses where the thought of surveying staff terrifies the business owner. Well, they'll tell me all sorts of things I don't want to hear. But the purpose of a survey is for them to tell you what you don't want to hear so that you can fix it, so that next time you do a survey, your employee satisfaction scores have gone through the roof. What a great way of doing it. I've used exactly the same philosophy for your customers. I've got 5,000 people that have bought product A in the last year. I'm going to send them all a survey. How did you find the product? What's the packaging up to scratch? I don't know, whatever the questions might be. And there's a couple of links in here where you can, at the end of this document, there is a link for lots of the things that we've talked about, so you can go and do a bit of homework and a bit of research. Zoho survey, SurveyMonkey, There's lots of different places that you can do this. It's not complicated to do, and it's lovely to see. I send my survey out to 4,000 people, and 172 give me feedback. Well, it feels like a small number, but boy, is that feedback valuable. Why did they buy your product? It's made in Britain. Why did they buy your product? They love the brand. Why did they buy the product? Because you're an eco-friendly business. Those are the things that you want to know and understand why your customer buys from you. And if you think about that, you survey your current customers, you do a better job of that, your ratios in the 5 ways earlier on in terms of conversion rate and number of times they buy from you goes up. You make more money as a result. Okay, exclusive content. So why would I subscribe to your mailing list? What am I going to get out of it? Am I just going to get a spam email every 3 weeks or 4 weeks? That's not an incentive for me to either stay subscribed or to consume the content. It might just land with me and then I leave it. A much better thing to do is to offer them something as a result of subscribing to your list. A free monthly PDF on how to do this better, or how to raise that, or how to do something else. Create your exclusive content and give it away to your community. Give it away to your community in your Facebook group or your LinkedIn group or to your email list. But don't just deliver bland, same old emails that aren't going to excite somebody. Segment your list and target them with content they want. I talked about that quite a lot a few moments ago, so we'll skip over that one. But knowing who your message is going to, that it has the right title, that it's skimmable, etc., etc. If you combine all of those things, your email marketing will be absolutely bang on. Links to social media. So we talked about that again a little while back. Encourage email signups with your social media campaigns. You can do that on LinkedIn. You can do it on Facebook. You can do it on Instagram. Just provide a simple way and an incentive for them to join your mailing list. And suddenly you're talking to more people with the valuable content that you're giving away as a result of creating exclusive content for your email clients. Don't forget, optimal engagement is really, really important. So again, just like your social media, what is the best time or day to send email? In our experience, Tuesday is the optimal time to send the email. Maybe Monday's out of the way, they haven't reached the peak of the week, followed by Thursday, followed by Wednesday. So we would always typically go out with our email campaigns on a Tuesday. And if for a particular reason in a particular week or month we don't get the right result we want, we might go again on a Wednesday or a Thursday just to test to see whether we get better engagement. All about learning. Seasonality, so let the seasons inspire your content, or let whatever other statistics you want to use or whatever other examples you want to use. So week 1, we're 6th in the gold medal table right now, but Athlete A has won a gold, Athlete B has won a bronze. Why not create an email that's based around that story that your email recipients are going to resonate with much better and potentially open and then help to move you forwards. And there's a link there that you can follow if you want to learn a little bit more about that. Okay, so we've done 18 and 30 now. So we're on the last 12. So content marketing. Now, this is a massive, massive topic. There are so many things you can do, you should do and you shouldn't do from a content marketing perspective. But one of the most important things is to create a plan, to create a consistent schedule by which you publish. And preferably to create all of your posts in advance so that for the next 4 weeks, all of that stuff, whether it's emails or whether it's social media posts, is all going out automatically. During the month while those are going out, you work on curating your content for the next month. At the end of month 1, you post month 2. Otherwise, what you tend to find from a working point of view, you tend to be focused on the content for now every single day, and you get to the end of the month and all you've done is deliver the month. Focus on it, deliver month 1, and while you're doing month one, create better content for month 2. So set a consistent publishing schedule, hugely, hugely important. Ask your audience or ask your customers what it is they'd like to hear about. Link to and share other things which are helping to show your expertise. Authoritative content. Content that's meaningful to other people Why wouldn't you link and share them? Getting guest contributors. So we often on our website will ask somebody locally to write a guest blog, and that blog will go on our website, and then we'll use that on social media. And it could be about any topic you like. For us, from a business point of view, but literally anything to do with the business. It helps to show community, it helps to show sharing, and it helps to show expertise. So what does your publishing schedule look like? There's an enormous conversation here about default diaries. So what does your diary look like if you are the person that's doing this stuff? And if you're not the person that's doing this stuff, and you don't have anybody that's focused on it, then you need to fix that. You need somebody to be focused on giving you the right message out there to your current and potential future audience. So a publishing content schedule, a consistent publishing schedule for content is hugely, hugely important. I would advocate absolutely stick a big calendar on the wall with post-it notes on it that show exactly what's going to go out and when, and then everybody knows what's happening. If you can't do that and you want to run it in a piece of project management software, absolutely fine. We love Zoho Project. It's part of the methodology of everything that we do is to create a plan for every single thing that we do. So we know what the timescale looks like, we know who's responsible, we know when it's going out, and we know what the expected results are. So a consistent schedule to set expectations for you and for your audience. Oh, I know there's another one coming from company ABC tomorrow. I'm really interested in looking at it. And most importantly, if you've got a team, hold your team accountable to deadlines, because you've got a plan and a schedule with dates and times on it and suggested content that you're going to stick to. And we talked about there about linking authoritative content. So if you're writing on specific topics, or if you're using content from other sources on particular topics, you will be seen as the expert if you're providing value and expertise and knowledge and authority to the people that you're serving with that content. So the sources can be literally anything you can think of, something you've seen over the weekend or otherwise. I use a thing called Zoho Social Sharing in my Chrome web browser. I see something I like, I'll click on it, and instantly it goes out to my Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn audience. Brilliant way of making it really easy to send out great content to people. And also, of course, if you're putting lots of content on your website, then you are being crawled by Google on a much more regular basis to make sure that, to help boost your organic reach in terms of what it is you're putting on your website. Guests write for other blogs. So I talk about getting guests to write for us, but why wouldn't you guest write for others? So if there's a website or a company that you particularly admire and you've got a great idea for content, why wouldn't you draft a blog and ask them to share it? Again, lots of other ways of helping to increase your authority on topics within your industry or your particular market segment to get that content in front of the right people. Ask your audience. We talked about surveys, and surveys for staff and surveys for your audience is a great idea. How did you like the product I sold? How was it delivered? Are you happy with the quality is one thing, but what about what would you like to hear from us? What can we help you to understand? What information can we provide you that would make you an even happier customer than you are already? Again, think about what topics your audience might want to learn about, and if you're short of ideas, survey them and ask. Okay, so 4 video marketing ideas. I mentioned video and how important it is. If you can get to the point where you can sit in front of the camera, I'm guaranteed that 60 or 70% of you on this call, there's a lot of you on, are not necessarily comfortable in front of the camera. Some of that comes from, am I happy with the way that I look? Some of that comes from, do I know my subject particularly well? Some of that comes from, I hate to see myself on a camera. If you can get over that, then, and you should, then video marketing is a hugely important piece of your lead generation strategy. Live streams. This is live. So it could be a live stream. I'm talking to a camera. This could be going to Facebook or LinkedIn. It's not today. We are planning to introduce that as part of our strategy in September. So these events will all get live streamed. Establishing a weekly series, so doing something regularly so people know when content's coming. LinkedIn will notify you if you've registered for something and it goes out regularly. Facebook will notify you. Instagram will notify you if you've registered for something. So turn that around, create the event, and have people sign up for it. Make sure you're delivering valuable content. Make sure you're delivering expertise when you're doing those sessions. And pay attention to what each of the platforms like in terms of the length of that live stream or the length of the video that you're recording. And I've got some numbers for you in a moment. And interviewing clients and industry experts is a great way of doing it. I interview between 4 and 5 people a week for the radio show. I interview 2 or 3 a month to go out on video. Again, it's a really good way of showing how you engage with your clients or your customers or your partners or associates, and demonstrating that to the audience. In sales terms, people want to know, like, and trust you. Video helps them to know you. Your content helps them to like and trust you. So go live. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Periscope, Clubhouse, YouTube. Oh gosh, there are so many. There are some apps that will allow you to go out to them all simultaneously. I'm not quite sure whether that's a good idea or not. Given that the audience is slightly different, you might want to curate your content to go to the right audience. But since live video usage is now as high as it is, I would absolutely advocate you pick 1 or 2 of those and you focus on delivering some good content over a sustained period. So don't do it for a day or a week. Do it for a couple of months, and over that period, you will get a bigger audience following you as a result of the videos that you put out. And when it's live, you can do all sorts of things, like I did the whole hand up thing in the beginning. You watch people, if you have a live audience, hands up if, and everybody puts their hand up. Then some people will take it down because actually they didn't mean to put it up at that point. But you can get some really good engagement going when you're doing live on Facebook or LinkedIn or elsewhere. Create a weekly video series. So I said about regularity. So if you've got something going out on a regular basis, video is a great way of doing it. As some of the new audio apps, I'm trying to remember the name of the audio app, and I can't off the top of my head. But again, similar thing, regular content. A podcast is a great way of delivering regular content. It's just a bit of a saturated market now. Trying to get to the top of a podcast list is quite hard. But again, that's really, really important. So when I said length matters, look at the stats for what social media channels think is the recommended video duration. So Facebook, less than 2 minutes. Twitter, no longer than just a few seconds. Instagram, again, just a few seconds, 25 to 30. And then YouTube, maximum of 2 minutes. So understand your platform, understand your content, understand your audience. Happy days. You will increase the number of leads that you generate as a result of that. And then curating content, again, that's a really important part. And I talked about that at length a few moments ago. And I've got some links at the end of the slides here, which will allow you to go and take a look at some of the content that's available where you might want to take that and use that yourself to fill gaps in your social media calendar. Okay. These are the last 3 random ideas. So on top of the other 27 that we've just covered, there are some other great ways of getting your content that you deliver and the way that you deliver that to be absolutely optimal. If you take a look at that entrepreneur.com article, it's a really interesting one about hold a referral-a-thon. Getting referrals from current customers for your business obviously is a brilliant way of doing it. And that's just an interesting slant on how you might do that in a more live manner. So liking and sharing. We run a live event, for example. We'll have a couple of current customers come along, clients come along to talk about the coaching process, how it's been for them and what the results have been, because we want to help to build that know, like, and trust. And a referral-a-thon is a very, very similar kind of thing. If you struggle for content, then there's a great product out there called Canva, which if you're not using it, you absolutely should. It is an absolutely fabulous way with templates in there, simple to use. You can create some really cracking videos and still images to use on your social media, as you can with Pictochart, Infogram, and Lumen 5. And there are a whole raft of others, but Canva happens to be our favorite internally. We use it for everything from video through to sales. And then lastly, and interestingly, probably one of the most important ones, but one of the ones that gets left by a lot of people, is your Google My Business page. If you don't have a Google My Business page, put your hand up if you don't use that. If you don't use that, then you are missing a massive, massive trick. So Google is the biggest search engine in the world. And if you are present on their My Google Business page, that is your name, your profile, your telephone number, your opening times, your location, you will appear on Google Maps with a name attached to your business when somebody is looking for you, but you will also use it as a social media platform. So all of the posts that go to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, put them on your Google My Business page. It is another social media platform that you should be using, and Google loves fresh content on there. The more you put it in, the higher you'll move up the organic rankings in a Google search. But don't forget that. Massively, massively important. Okay, so that's 30 ideas, out of which you only need to pick 3. We said that there would be 3 that you could take away with you. Hopefully you've got way more than 3. I'm going to give you get a copy of this recording, so you can listen to my dulcet tones, and you get a copy of the PDF deck, which will allow you to pick up some of those numbers, the image sizes and times of day and those kind of things to play with. If you've got, we've crammed a lot into 45 minutes. So if you've got any questions, then we put up a free 30-minute discovery call to have a chat with a coach who will talk to you about all of this stuff and anything else you want to discuss. On our website, go to the book a meeting page, click on that, and you can pick James Lorna or myself and pick a discovery call as the option. It's 30 minutes long. You'll get a Zoom link or a telephone call, a telephone number, and we can have a chat about whatever it is that's burning a hole in your pocket. Don't forget the sales funnel I put up right at the beginning of this. That is a critical piece of what you need to think about when you're generating leads. Of the 20 businesses I might meet in a month, I promise you that 10 have no lead generation strategy whatsoever. They exist based on relationships with people that they've had for days, weeks, months, years, and they hope that they're going to get some referrals from that, but that is not a way to grow your business. A way to grow your business is increase the number of leads you generate and then get really good at the sales process, because that's the way that you generate cash and profit in the bank. And ultimately, being in business should give you more life. That's what we always say. It shouldn't be your life. And in order to do that, you need to have enough time and money and a great team in order to be able to develop your business. And that's what we do every day. Okay, so anybody got any questions? Use the Q&A link if you have. My able assistant, Lauren, is managing the Q&A link. I will see if I can get to it. But I can't. So Lauren will come and tell me, I'm sure, if there's anybody with any burning questions. The last page of the slide deck, this one, has got all those links in I talked about, which will show you some of the stuff you can do to talk about email marketing, segmentation, or marketing ideas. And no questions. Great, no questions. Well, that's great at the end of a 45-minute webinar. If you do have any and you want to talk to us, as I said earlier on, book a link on this page here, westhart.actioncoach.co.uk/book a meeting. My name is Simon Ellson, and thank you very much for turning up on a Friday afternoon. I hope you have a fabulous weekend, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Thank you.